People ask us, how do you teach mental toughness? How do I make my wrestler more mentally tough? I think there's different levels of mental toughness. The way mental toughness is taught, or coaches try to, when I was growing up and still today is, just physical torture, and that's going to make them tough. And I guess it does. They get used to enduring physical torture without quitting. So it's probably a good thing. But what if your athlete lacks emotional toughness? What if if a ref makes a bad call, do they fall apart, or do they just get up, get back on the line, and move forward? Some kids fall apart, or they miss a leg attack, and they turn and look at their coach. Even high school kids, and their body language has changed. I remember watching Cale Sanderson. I guess he was winning his 4th title. The kid kicked out of a single leg on the edge, and he immediately slapped the mat. And I remember thinking, man, that's kind of cool, And I mean, he wanted it bad, and it was a reaction. A knee-jerk reaction was just to slap the mat, like, dang it, But he got back, marched back to the middle, and got back in. And, that's why, he is what he is, and we can all learn from that. I know I sure could have learned from that. So it's important to watch these kind of other athletes. One good tool for becoming more, I guess, mentally tough is find someone to emulate. My college coach told us this. He's like, you don't copycat someone, but it's good to find someone to look up to emulate. And you watch their practice habits, watch how they lift weights, watch how they behave before and during and after big matches, and you can find successful people and sort of emulate them and kind of draw strength from that, because now there's a video clip in your head of what you want to look like, So that was good advice I got from Joe C. a long time ago. But as far as mental toughness, I would definitely say that if your athlete lacks the emotional toughness, maybe they thought they had an easy kid, and they look at the weight bracket, and now they have a tougher opponent, and they sort of fall apart. What we like to do is just sort of give talks. I give examples of athletes that are in our room that showed mental toughness, or rather emotional toughness, in those situations, and we talk about we talk about how exciting that is, and really just cool, and how few people have that, and this wrestler has it, and there's other athletes in this room that I could talk about that have it. And if you don't have it, I want you to self-evaluate and decide how to get it. Another aspect of mental toughness is just your body language. We teach we practice walking around the wrestling room with our chest out. I was just watching the news, and one of the guest was talking about the Secret Service. They have a phrase, it's called "get big." When stuff goes down, when you're a Secret Service agent, the first thing you do is get big. It's just confident body language. And on some of our video clips here, there's a lot I know. That's our first key to success. We like to, number 1, put on confident body language. Number 2, take 2 or 3 big, deep breaths. Number 3, we think about what we need to do to win the match, right? And get back to our game plan, because now we're kind of getting our mind focused. But the first thing we do in the heat of a battle is put on our confident body language. And these are things you can practice too. So let's say that you're walking, and I told a story, I think, on one of these video clips, when I was a 7th grader we had to walk through the high school varsity football locker room to get to the wrestling varsity or high school wrestling room. And I had I walked in like a scary little kid. I was only 7th grade. I looked like I was 8, Then I remember walking out, because you could exit the back door. And I remember feeling bad, and I thought, don't do that again. Tomorrow, because my dad always preached, he always used to say, don't look like a whipping boy, Act like you own this place. Look like you own this place. And that was a common phrase before tournaments. And I remember thinking, okay, it's like my dad said, I got to walk in that locker room. I mean, you know, not like I'm better than everybody else, but just don't slouch. And so the next day, I just kind of kept my head up, kept my bag on my shoulder. I walked through the locker room like I had a direction and a path that I was walking. And, I didn't cower and tiptoe. I didn't march through and push kids out of the way. They would have stuffed me in a locker. But, you can practice this. And kids can practice this at practice. They can practice it, at a match. I used to tell my own son, I tell kids all the time, and I'm like, hey, you got a big match coming up. We have 15 minutes. I want you to go get a drink, walk the hallway, come back, but I want you to come back with your head up, chin high, stick your chest out. I want to see some good, strong body language, and then, I'll hold your spot here, by mat side or whatever. And, I want your body language to look tough and ready. And I'll send them out and make them walk back in the gym again. And it does wonder. I see that with my son all the time. And he really mastered this in the last 5 or 6 years of his wrestling career too. So, mental toughness, if it's they can't take physical torture, I guess have hard practices and push them through it. I think that's, probably a good thing. But also diagnose. The other side of mental toughness is a lot of it is just emotional toughness, and body language is tied to that as well. So I think if you start approaching this from that angle, I think you're going to have more success with the kids, and your practices will probably be more productive as well. So good luck. Hit the subscribe button. Check us out at purlerwrestling.com, and of course we have our whole system on DVD. Competition camps at our privately owned 15,000 square foot wrestling training center, and just outside of Wentzville, Missouri, in St. Louis County. Competition camps, summer camps, you name it. So if you have any interest, you know where to find us, purlerwrestling.com. Good luck.